Because I asked last hour a little bit about some of the stuff that you should have talked about a little bit in geometry last year. They didn't recognize the play. I think you talked about Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus b squared equals c squared, and we talked about which side is c. And how do we determine which one's the hypotenuse? Opposite right angle is the longest side too. It's always your hypotenuse. So we get the hypotenuse is the longest side. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. The a and b does not matter where you put it on the two legs. A and b can be interchangeable, but c always does have to go to the hypotenuse. In any right triangle, the sum of the squares of the lengths of the legs is equal to the square of the length hypotenuse, or a squared plus b squared equals c squared. I'm hoping that you dealt with that last year. What is the length of the triangle? Now you notice on this triangle up here we got two sides, we got two legs, 9 and 12, right? We're looking for the hypotenuse, so we're looking for c. So if I was solving this one down, what I would do here is I would go 9, and I'm going to write down a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and I'm going to go 9 squared plus my other side is 12 squared equals c squared. Using the Pythagorean theorem. 9 squared is 81. Plus 12 squared is equals c squared. So 225 is equal to c squared. Take the square root of both sides, so c is equal to 15. 9, 12, 15. Okay? That's how you get it up. When you get two legs, you take your two legs, square them together, add them together, and take the square root. Now you notice on these we do not worry about the plus and minus because dimensions cannot be negative. We're not going to deal with negative numbers here. So therefore, we're only dealing with the positive answer. Try the bottom one. You got two legs, 7 and 24. What's the third leg? Write down your answer. What to do in this one. And notice it says the legs are 7 and 24. I would set up the a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So we got 7 squared plus 24 squared equals c squared. Solving that down, the square of 7 squared is 49. 24 squared is 576. Equals c squared. Now c squared is equal to 625. Square root of both sides would be 25. Now, so my sides would be 7, 24, and 25, right? It's called, no, correct me if I'm wrong. Did you talk about Pythagorean triples last year?
No. Yeah, it's ones
that ones that make a right triangle, right?
3, 4, 5.
3, 4, 5 is a common one, right? 5, 12, 13, which we did a little bit ago. 7, 24, 25 is another common one, right? What it means is that those triangles are very common into, if you see two sides, if I see one, the hypotenuse is 25 and I see one side is 7, you should automatically know that the other side is 24 if it's a right triangle. Okay? Now we're going to deal a lot with right triangles in this chapter. Right now we're just learning the basics of Pythagorean theorem. When we simplify down a problem like this, we're going to simplify it down so it has a square root. We're going to take it if we can. If not, we'll simplify the square root. We're not going to get a decimal unless they tell us to. Now there's two special right triangles. Now let's see if you remember this. How many of you remember special right triangles last year? 30, 60, 90, and 45, 45, 90. 45, 45, 90. Do you remember the side lengths?
They have to be equal.
Okay, the two legs are equal. What about hypotenuse? Remember that? Oh, the 30, 60, 90. Do you remember anything about like one side's x, one side's half x, all that kind of stuff? Remember any of that? Okay, we're gonna have to review that. Basics triangle. When you think about trigonometry sounds bad, but all trigonometry is based on those two triangles. We learn a lot of trigonometry based on 30, 60, 90, and 45, 45, 90. We will get to those, so they weren't kidding me when they said you haven't taught about them so much. Okay, here's another triangle, if I can get the thing to turn the page here. A fire truck is parked inside the building such that the base of the ladder is 16 feet. Here's your base of the building. The fire truck extends at 30 foot as shown, so this is 30 feet. We're looking for the leg B. Solve it down. Looking for leg B. You went into it right away and said 16 squared. So that's A plus B squared is equal to C squared. This is just my A squared plus B squared equals C squared formula, right? Now if I break this down, 16 squared is 256. Plus B squared equals 30 squared, which is 900. Now if I solve this down, I would subtract 256 from both sides. And I'm going to get B squared is equal to 644. Take the square root of both sides. And B is equal to, now, this one, you can take the square root and this will come out nicely. So we're going to do square roots with simplifying down. And when I talk about that, it's like we did in the last section, right? The kids and kid nuts. This is going to be square root of 4, and I think it's 161.
Two.
The square root of 4 is? 2, the square root of 161. Now, I don't think 161 has any more square roots in it. So that would be simplifying down. Go. Question on that. Like I said, this should be reviewed pretty good. Shouldn't be new stuff here. You don't often get review as we go here. I'll come back to that one. Now, how many remember, right next year, how many days? Conditional statements, if-then statements, converse statements. I usually hear, and usually not one of the favorite things people like to do. We're not going to do them much, we're just going to talk about it a little bit, right? If-then statement is a conditional statement. A conditional statement is a statement that has a hypothesis and a conclusion. If it's cloudy outside, it is raining. It might be a true, might be a false conclusion. If I roll 2 ones on a dice, I'll get an even number. Then I'll get an even number. That's true. You know, as you go. Now the converse up here, the converse of a conditional statement switches the hypotheses and the conclusion. Now think of what our problem was just a second ago. It said, if I had a right triangle, then a squared plus b squared equals c squared, right? Now if I switch that around for the converse, it would be, if I have a triangle such that a squared plus b squared equals c squared, then I have a right triangle. So in other words, if it works in the Pythagorean theorem, then I have a right triangle. And that's true. The true set. It doesn't always have to be true, so you have to find the truth value. I think they called it back in geometry days, remember truth value? That's what it was called. So we look for the truth value. Is it true or not? Okay. But this is the rule I want you to know. I want you to know if I kind of backwards. If I want to find a side, I can do this. But at the same time, if I want to find out if it's a right triangle or not, I can do this. Either one. For example, I've given sides 5, 12, and 13. Hopefully you know right away, but is it a right triangle?
Yes.
Yes, and we'll check it out. So we're going to say 5 squared. I should put up here a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So I'm going to have 5 squared plus 12 squared equals 13 squared.
So 144 plus 25, which equals 169.
25 of 144 equals 169, and then 169 equals 169. Right? Did it work?
Yeah.
Is it a right triangle?
Yeah.
Yes. Try the bottom one. A triangle has sides 10, 24, and 26. Is it a right triangle? A squared plus b squared equals c squared, okay? Which one we know is our c? Always go along the side of c. So we have 10 squared plus 24 squared equals 26 squared. So now 10 squared is 100. So 100 plus 24 squared, 576 equals 676. So we got 676 equals 676. Is it a right triangle? Okay? Not too hard a section. Pythagorean theorem, like I said, Pythagorean theorem and the converse should be problems you should have done before. 3 through 60 by 3 is the wrong page number. It should be 587, I believe. Is there any questions off of yesterday's homework you want me to do? Or you want to work? Any questions off of yesterday's homework?
What page over 3?
587. Any questions?
Other than